Hi, this is the lesson number 26 in this series of British literature, and from last three or four lessons we are discussing some of the important writers of the age of Chaucer. So today in this lesson we shall be talking important things about the writer John Lydgate. John Lydgate was a friend of Thomas Chaucer. So now who is Thomas Chaucer? Thomas Chaucer, we all know, he is the son of Sir Geoffrey Chaucer. So John Lydgate admired most of Chaucer's work. In fact, you will find that most of his works are based on Geoffrey Chaucer's works. And he adapted his writing style, the famous writing style using the rhyme scheme, that is rhyme royale. He adopted. So John Lydgate used rhyme royale and he copied this structure or copied this form from Sir Geoffrey Chaucer's works. So the first work we have written by John Lydgate, Serpent of Division. It is only prose work. This is only a prose work. Otherwise, most of his works are in the form of poems or poetry. So this prose work written by John Lydgate, and it gives us the brief account of the great Julius Caesar. The next work we have Fall of Princes. And this work, Fall of Princes, is originally written by Boccaccio in French. We have famous writer Giovanni Boccaccio, and this work is written in French, and later it was translated. And it was translated by John Lydgate. And in this work, he used rhyme royale scheme. The third work we have Reason and Sensuality. Reason and Sensuality. And it is also a translation from French, and it is an allegory and it has a theme of chastity. Then we have Troy Book. Troy Book, by the name it suggests that it is about the Troy history, and John Lydgate started writing this work at the command of the Prince of Wales, and later he continued writing this work for Henry V of England. And it is a translation of the Trojan history, as I told you, and this history originally was written by 13th century Latin writer, and the name of that writer is Guido della Clone. Guido della Clone. Okay, some awkward name and maybe not so important to remember, but we should remember that it is a translation work, Troy Book, and it is translated from French. And then we have some important works like the Siege of Thebes. Siege of Thebes. This work is written in response to Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. Chaucer wrote Canterbury Tales, and in that we have a very important tale at the beginning, the first tale. Who told the first tale? The knight. So the knight's tale is we can say this Siege of Thebes, this tale or this poem is based on the knight's tale, and it borrows the structure of pilgrims, and it also contains the story based on Boccaccio's work. So things are getting complicated. I just try to simplify the things. We have Giovanni Boccaccio's work Tisida. We shall discuss in the European literature when we shall discuss European writers. So remember Boccaccio, Giovanni Boccaccio, he wrote a work that is called Tisida. On base of that work we have Chaucer's Knight's Tale. In Canterbury Tales we have Knight's Tale, and on base of these two works we have Siege of Thebes written by John Lydgate. And if you remember Tisida or this work, Knight's Tale, I told you that it is a love triangle. There are two cousins, Arcite and Palamon, and their love interest Emilia. And if you haven't read that or haven't gone through that lesson, you should go through that lesson because that is very important poem. And now after Knight's Tale or the Siege of Thebes, okay, these three are having similar structure, so we shall now continue with the another title, The next title we have The Complaint of the Black Knight, and it is also modeled on Chaucer's work, and the work is Book of Duchess. And the last we have Temple of Glass, and this work is also having similar elements to the work House of Fame written by Sir Geoffrey Chaucer. So you see that from last 2 or 3 works, what we find that most of the content he is taking from Sir Geoffrey Chaucer's work. I just repeat, Temple of Glass is based on House of Fame. So Geoffrey Chaucer wrote House of Fame. We have discussed this poem, and on the basis of this, we have Temple of Glass written by John Lydgate, the Book of Duchess written by Sir Geoffrey Chaucer, and on the basis of this we have The Complaint of the Black Knight written by John Lydgate, and the third one, The Siege of Thebes, written by John Lydgate, and it is based on the Knight's Tale written by Sir Geoffrey Chaucer. Knight's Tale is contained in the masterpiece work, that is Canterbury Tales. So after these number of titles, we have some of the important points to recite, and these points have some references to the previous year questions in UGC Net. So the first we have The Siege of Thebes. We just discussed. The Siege of Thebes serves as a companion to which poem? So we can now easily answer this question, that it serves as a companion to Knight's Tale, and it is the first tale in the Canterbury Tales. Then we have the question related to the writing orders of, or the chronological orders of the 3 works. So the first he wrote Troy Book, then we have Siege of Thebes, and then we have the Fall of Princes. Okay, so these type of questions are pretty much typical because we cannot remember all these dates and their orders, so we just have to sometime mug up such a thing. So sometimes these things do stuck in our mind. So we have Troy Book, then followed by Siege of Thebes, and then Fall of Princes. So one last point we have, that is Troy Book is patronized by. Patronized means when someone in authority provides some financial help, some support for writing some works. So this is called as the patronized. So Troy Book is patronized by Henry IV, and the Fall of Princes is patronized by Humphrey, Duke of Gloucester. Humphrey is the name, the Duke of Gloucester, and it is also during the regime of Henry VI. So Troy Book is patronized by Henry IV, and the Fall of Princes. So now you can see that Henry IV, when Henry IV was ruling at that time, John Lydgate wrote Troy Book, and Fall of Princes was written during the time or during the regime of Henry VI. So from where we can also conclude one point, that Troy Book was written first, and then we had the Fall of Princes was written later. So that's all we have. So I just quickly repeat the important titles, like Serpent of Division. It's a prose work and based on Julius Caesar. Then we have Fall of Princes, originally written in French, and it is written in Rhine Royal's scheme. Then we have Reason and Sensuality, based on the theme of chastity. Troy Book we have already discussed. It contains the Trojan history. Siege of Thebes, The Complaint of Black Knight, and Temple of Glass. These 3 are important works. Siege of Thebes based on Knight's Tale, The Complaint of the Black Knight based on the Book of Duchess, and Temple of Glass is based on the work The House of Fame by Geoffrey Chaucer. So all this we have about John Lydgate. So I hope you have enjoyed this lesson. So thanks for watching this lesson. Have a nice day.